Hi there all, and welcome down to episode 9 of this 10-part series in which we're helping landlords get prepared for the Renters' Right Act and the big changes which are coming in on the 1st of May. If you hadn't already watched some of the first videos, or the first 8 videos, then please do watch this one and have a look back on the previous episodes in which me and Paul do chew the fat on some quite big subjects and big changes for the residential letting sector. But this one, Paul, I always say it's a light-hearted part, but that's because I'm a massive animal fan, I must admit. But pets in lets. Talk us through it, Paul.
Oh, hang on, there's a lot of talking required. So pets in lets. So this part has changed, isn't it? So when it's renters reform, there's various different aspects of this, but this is where we are at the moment. So pets and lets, it will become, as of the 1st of May, unlawful to deny a tenant's request to have a pet unless you have a good reason. Okay, so let's just go there. It's unlawful to deny it unless you have a good reason. Now, a good reason is not because I don't like the tenant. A good reason is not I don't like dogs, or I might move back in and I'm allergic to them. That's not considered a good reason. There are ways in which you can deny a request. So if it's a leasehold property and the lease doesn't allow head lease doesn't allow any pets in the property, that can be used as evidence. But it has to be, you have to then show the tenant that section of the lease. If the lease is silent, you can't assume that means that you can't have pets.
You have to actually go out and
speak to the directors, speak to the freeholders, and you have to get written confirmation from them. Now, the process starts. So let's assume the tenant moves in and you say, are you going to have any pets? No, I'm not going to have any pets. The day they move in, they can request a pet. And you cannot deny it. We've just mentioned you can look at the leasehold, but let's assume it's a freehold property. Then what you can do is you can look at the Animal Welfare Act. There's 5 different sections in there about what's required to look after an animal. That may be an avenue for denying the pet. And that would be in such situations where you got a 1-bedroom corner starter home, and they want a Great Dane. And there's no outside space.
Also be if they want a dog, but both the tenants work 5 days a week.
Correct.
And they have no capability of work from home or take the dog to work with them, you could go down that route to say that is a reasonable reason not to allow it, really.
Because it's all to do with the welfare of the animal. Now, when they were writing the Act, there was discussions in relation to mandatory pet insurance. That disappeared, unfortunately. So you can't mandate that the tenants have pet insurance. There was talk about increasing the deposit, like a pet deposit. That didn't come to anything, so you cannot ask for an increase in the deposit either. And again, we talked about setting rents at the correct level. I think in the previous episodes, I think all landlords just need to assume going forward
there may well be a
request for a pet. And so once the tenants request the pet in writing, you have 28 days in which to respond. If it's a no, you have to evidence it. You can ask for extension if you're asking third parties, i.e. directors, freeholder. You can ask for an extension because
can take months.
It may take some time to get back to you. But ultimately, if you do say no and the tenant doesn't accept your denial, they have the rights, free of charge, to refer that to the first tier tribunal. And if the first tier tribunal decides that actually you were unjust in your denial, that's a £7,000 fine. And the ability of the tenant to then have the pet. So you look shocked.
So you can, I could say, I want a cat. And you I say I want a dog, and you say no, you're working full time. I don't think that's right. I'm going to say
Well,
no.
it's more so. Let's assume for this scenario, let's assume it's a leasehold. So you want a dog, and I turn around and say you can't because the lease doesn't allow it. I don't evidence that, and the tenant then establishes, well, actually, I just lied because I don't want you to have a dog. And then refers that first to tribunal. And upon the investigation, they would ask for the evidence. And if you can't provide that evidence, then you have unlawfully denied that request. If the tenant requests a pet and upon our inquiries or the landlord's inquiries, we established they work 9 to 5, 5 days a week, at which point the animal is going to be left on its own, then that's a legitimate reason to say no, because
I hope the tribunal will see it.
You are concerned about the animal's welfare.
Yeah,
that's legitimate. Yeah, and the key thing around this is to request that the tenant fill in a pet request form. And what you want to do in that form, we've got ours prepared already. You want to be having all of the information about the pet. And bear in mind, the pet request is one pet. The tenant doesn't say, I would like to have 3 dogs. That's 3 separate requests. It's one request per pet. And you want to know make, breed, make. Talking about car at the moment. So anyway, sorry, breed. Breed of dog, age of dog. What vet has the dog been registered with? Is the dog insured? Has the dog been neutered? Whilst you can't mandate the insurance, we all know that responsible owners will have insurance. We all know responsible owners will register a pet at a vet's.
What level do you think this is going from? Are we talking kind of cats and dogs here, or do you think it's like rabbits and gerbils, hamsters? I think hamsters isn't like where is the line? Do you think going to?
That's a good question.
Going to stop really or start?
So,
I suppose
guidance hasn't been issued in that respect. Guidance also hasn't been issued on the full spectrum of how you can deny a request. Government's very much left to say, well, what is reasonable?
Right.
Use common sense on what is reasonable.
Okay.
So it's a very quick get out of for
them,
isn't it? It would be useful, but it basically said we don't have time to lay out every single denial.
Animal.
So you need to just sort that out between you and just be sensible about it. But no, it's a good question because a goldfish is a pet. We consider it a pet. Does it need a request? My personal opinion is no. If you're going to have a massive aquarium, then that's different because the level of potential damage to the property. I had one that cracked.
If you have one on an upstairs room and it's a 500 litre tank, there's a half a ton there, isn't there? 500 litres.
It's all about damage that can be caused to the property, isn't it? Now, you can also put in the on the pet request form, you get the tenant to sign an agreement that they will make sure that the property is professionally cleaned. Whilst you cannot enforce that, because that goes against the tenant fee ban, you can certainly put it in there as a request that you are agreeing you will do this, you will de-infest the property at the end of your tenancy. So you want to ask as many questions as possible to give you as much information that you can have in order to make a decision.
A justified decision.
And if that means, right, well, what hours do you work? As you made reference to, what kind of temperament does that dog have? Have you seen that dog? Do you already have that dog? Has that dog come over from another landlord's property? Can we get a pet reference? Can I see the dog? There's absolutely nothing wrong. And if you turn out the dog's going absolutely mental, then that's not good. But there's absolutely no reason why you can't see the dog. And this is the thing, it's doing the right level of due diligence to make sure that you make the right decision, but being sure that you don't just say no, because then potentially that could be referred.
And the key point is to once it's in writing to yourself is to respond within 28 days. That's you out of this little chat. That's the one real item to make sure you keep on top of at home, basically, because we could talk about pets in nets for hours, I think,
Good.
weirdly enough. But that is a little bit on pets and lets. Anything else to add on that, Paul?
I think that from if you're a self-managing landlord and you've accepted a pet, it doesn't just stop there. When you're doing your regular routine visits every 6 months, whatever mine might be, just be aware.
Yeah.
I agreed for them to have a Labrador, as an example.
Is it a
now
Labrador?
there's a Labrador and a Rottweiler. Where did that come from?
Yeah.
But also, the pet's there, so you need to be assessing damage. The skirting board's being chewed. Does the carpet's being weed on? It doesn't just stop at the acceptance of the pet. It's that ongoing, making sure that the tenants are looking after the property as a result of you giving them permission to have a pet.
Absolutely. And what if say the pet was causing damage, or the pet was in a state of, well, I suppose if the pet wasn't being looked after, then that's a completely other RSPCA kind of issue.
Yeah.
But if the pet was actively now causing damage to the property during the tenancy, what do you do?
Well, you cannot revoke the permission.
Okay.
Once permission is given, it's given.
But just keep a note
But
of it.
what you do,
the
everything surrounding this act is evidence-based. Yeah? You need to evidence everything. So if you are going out on a routine visit and you are noticing some damage,
Yep.
you record it, you communicate the same with the tenant in writing,
Log it.
so that you have evidence, you are logging it, because essentially at the end of that tenancy, you're creating a timeline
Yep.
that enables you to make a claim against the tenant's deposit for the damage that has been caused. That's the key thing. Don't ignore it, don't just moan about it.
No.
Log it, record it, make sure all your files are in order.
To do your routines really as well.
Do the routine visits, yeah. And some people prefer for third parties or agents to go and do them because it removes
that
the
element
awkward.
of it. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
Absolutely. You're there for a job, aren't you? You're not there for just a chat to see how the family are on that front. But yeah, that's episode 9. Join us for episode 10, in which we talk about the 3-phase rollout. Phase 1, which we're talking about at the moment. And yeah, remember to like and subscribe to the videos. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers, bye.